This course is going to focus on recipes and meal plans that allow you to follow the Pound of Cure program. Now, I think new recipes are critical to your success. The truth is, it sometimes seems like a really difficult challenge to change your way of eating over to the Pound of Cure approach. However, most of us cook around 10 to 20 different recipes in our family or in our household, and that accounts for probably around 90% of the meals that we're eating and preparing in our home. And all we have to do in order to change 90% of our diet is come up with somewhere between 10 to 20 new recipes. Now, that's not easy, but all of a sudden this becomes a very reasonable task. And if we can just take your kind of basic 10 or 20 recipes that you've been preparing for the last decade or so and change them over to Pound of Cure friendly recipes, then this step alone is going to make a huge change in the types of foods that you eat. And over this time, as you're implementing and trying these new recipes, you'll figure out how to shop and cook these meals without too much trouble, and they shouldn't require any more effort than any of the other recipes that you prepare. Now, in the course, we organize meals, we organize the recipes by meal. And we've got smoothies, snacks, breakfast, appetizers, soup, salads, dressings and sauces, side dishes, main dishes, and desserts. I'm going to go through them quickly, but in each section there's going to be a lot of these recipes for you, and we're going to continually be adding them. If you have any great ones that you want, feel free to post them in the forums below, and we'd love to add them to the site if we find them helpful to others. So first, let's start with smoothies. I think this is one of the first and most important steps to make when following the Pound of Cure program, is to start implementing smoothies into your life on a regular basis. They're delicious. For the most part, you won't taste the greens, especially if you use baby spinach. And they're a great way to start your day and a great way just to get started in the first steps of the Pound of Cure program. Snacks and appetizers. Most people, when I talk to them in the office, will say, you know, Dr. Weiner, I think I'm snacking too much. Well, snacking is not the problem. It's most snack food that we have to avoid. Well, in this section, we've got tons of snacks and appetizers that you can use that are great, and you can eat as many of them as you like. They're essentially going to be nuts, fruits, veggies, and some bean-based dishes. And they're really delicious, and by having these around and snacking on these regularly, you can snack at any time, and you can snack as much as you like, as long as it's on the right, you're snacking on the right foods. Now, breakfast. Everybody says breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and I don't disagree with this. It's important not to skip breakfast. I think where people run into trouble is they think that breakfast has to be this huge meal. It really doesn't. It doesn't have to be a lot of food. Just eating a piece of fruit in the morning, to me, counts as breakfast. A handful of nuts, a little bit of yogurt with some berries, or if you want a more substantial breakfast, some eggs are great as well. And so we've got recipes here that are going to help you get started first thing in the morning with breakfast. Of course, you can always just drink a smoothie. That's another great breakfast as well. Soup, for me, is the best lunch meal because, first of all, it's inexpensive. You can make large amounts of it once a week and store it and take it with you. It's portable, and it's a great way to get your beans, which are a critical part of this diet. We really want people to eat beans almost every day if possible. And also, soup is very inexpensive. Now, a lot of people think that following the Pound of Cure program means that they're eating salads all the time. And there are some people who love salads, and that's great. Salads are a really, really excellent way to eat while on the Pound of Cure program. But I've got a lot of successful patients who don't eat many salads at all and instead focus on roasted veggies and other vegetable dishes that wouldn't really be considered a salad. We've got some salad recipes. They're great for any time of day. But I don't want you to think that if you're not eating a salad at every meal, you're not following the program. Now, most people think that salads have to be eaten without dressings if you're gonna follow the Pound of Cure, but that's not true. By replacing the oil with nuts and seeds, we can come up with some delicious dips and salad dressings that you can use and eat as much of as you like. We also, in this section, have some vegan cheese, which really I think is kind of a more advanced meal, but it's definitely worth trying because they are delicious and not nearly as hard to make as you think. Side dishes are also important. It's a great way to get a lot of vegetables in, and there's a lot of mushroom dishes here, butternut squash, sweet potatoes. There's some great side dishes that can add to the amount of vegetables you're eating and allow you to eat heartily, eat a really delicious meal, and still follow the Pound of Cure program completely. Now, main dishes, to me, the ratio we always want to see with main dishes, we want to see a lot of vegetable and a little bit of meat or animal protein. And we've got, in the main dish section, we've got a ton of recipes that are really vegetable heavy, but they use meat to flavor the dish, and they're fantastic, and you can eat them really almost in an unlimited fashion and still stay on the program. We also have in here some bean pasta dishes, which are great. If you haven't tried bean pastas, you really are missing out. It's, in my opinion, the best pasta replacement, and something that allows you to eat a really delicious meal and get your beans in at the same time without any guilt or any concern at all. Now, desserts, you don't have to skip out on desserts. We're going to avoid the refined sugar, and fruit to me is a great dessert in and of itself, but we also have a lot of recipes for what we call nice cream, which is essentially somewhere between ice cream and a smoothie, but it's made with all natural and all pound-to-cure friendly foods, and they're really delicious and not that hard to make, and something that I think you've got to try. We also have some dessert bars, which are fantastic. Now, one of the most important things about starting out and trying new recipes and implementing some of the meal plans we have here is that patience and practice are critical. The first time you cook a meal, you will not cook it in the best possible way unless you're a really experienced chef. But most likely, it's not going to come out exactly the way you want. And instead of saying, oh, forget this recipe, ask yourself, what could I change? What could I do different? What do you think I did wrong? And try to solve this problem, and be patient with yourself, and practice and see if you can get these recipes down. And it's not going to happen the first time. It may take 2 or 3 or even 4 times, but over a period of several months, you can bring these 10 or 20 recipes into your household, get good at cooking them, get good at shopping for them, and slowly change your household over to the pound-to-cure eating style.